Or Entrepreneurship 101, inspiring entrepreneurs to rise, innovate, and create lasting impact. Another week, another great episode. Why most businesses fail and what successful entrepreneurs do differently.
Another great episode, Daniel. Looking forward to it.
Yes. And how's your Christmas, Mr. Michael?
Excellent, excellent. Good time with family and friends. How about you, Daniel?
Well, busy interviewing talented people like you.
Yes, because you are a podcast machine.
Podcast machine and looking forward for more two podcasts next year. Trivia 101 and spirituality 101 or spirituality awakening. Looking forward for those two podcasts. People tune in for that. For sure
Yes,
you will be empowered. Ah,
2026 is shaping up really nicely. We want to help as many people as possible.
yes, because Mr. Michael and our vision and mission is to empower people all over the world through our podcast.
That's right.
Mm. So, Mr. Michael, why most business fail and what successful entrepreneurs do differently?
I think businesses fail often because of a lack of vision,
Mm,
lack of planning, and oftentimes a lack of capital. And
yes.
the entrepreneur who understands that they need to cast a vision, that they need to really encourage other people to buy into that vision. But how can we expect others to buy into a vision if we haven't fully bought in? So I think that's key, that's critical, that the entrepreneur, the leader, the visionary is all in on the mission, that they're
Mm,
not wavering, right? That they've spent the time, that they've self-reflected, that they've done their research, and
mhm.
they've done the legwork to make sure that they have enough working capital to give themselves a good runway. Any business, any idea, anything that's really worth having oftentimes takes time and it takes patience, it takes energy, it takes effort. And some businesses fail because they run out of money, or at times they may run out of hope. And it's so important to have a team of people, if you can, to help support you, to keep you encouraged, to keep you strong. But ultimately, the results matter. Whatever product, whatever idea that you're bringing to the marketplace, that idea needs to be solid. It needs to be able to help others. And that'll help you weather the storm and not fail, but succeed.
And indeed, succeed to succeed. That is our aim here on Entrepreneurship 101 to succeed. What are the most common reasons businesses fail early, Mr. Michael?
I think, businesses fail. No, that's the same question you asked there.
Mm-hmm.
You said why businesses fail, right? So you asked me the same question again.
Mm-hmm. So sorry for that. So
It's
what
all
is the
good.
mindset? So what is the mindset or influence long-term survival?
Yeah, the mindset I think has to deal with having the right mental mapping, the right mental capacity to understand that. Again, back to I mentioned earlier, patience, right? Understanding that the entrepreneur must be resourceful, must be relentless and relatable. Let's talk about that. Resourceful. How do you respond when things don't go well?
Mm-hmm.
That is often the key between winning and losing. Mistakes are going to happen. There's going to be ups and downs. There's going to be adversity. There's going to be challenges. But the one who's resourceful, who can be creative, who can be adaptable, right, is going to be ahead of the game. They're going to be able to navigate that adversity. The next one I would say is relentlessness. I think there needs to be an insatiable appetite to reach that goal, an insatiable appetite to want to bring that idea or bring that product to the marketplace, to others. And then I would say relatability. Some people thrive and succeed based upon their people skills, their emotional intelligence. The product matters, the process matters, but so does the person. And being relatable, some people just get more opportunities, Daniel, because they're likable. and they're a good partner. They're a good teammate. And they're often going to get more opportunities. They're going to have more people look out for them and provide them with opportunities, largely because they're relatable, they're likable, and other people feel good being around them.
Mm, yes. And I think mindset too, right, Mr. Michael? You need this directly influenced for long-term business survival because it determines how you interpret setbacks, right? Setbacks make decision under pressure or sustaining discipline action over time.
That's right. That's a winning mindset.
Mm,
When you think more about winning than losing, you show me a problem, I'll
yes,
show you a solution. So that's the mindset in many ways, right? Or problem solvers. Great entrepreneurs are problem solvers. Yeah.
yes, definitely. So why do many founders ignore fundamentals? What do you think? Why?
I think because fundamentals often, you know, some people may find boring,
Mm-hmm.
but I tell you, the fundamentals go a long way. You think about sports, for example. If a pitcher gets off his stride, if a batter is in a slump, if a golfer is not hitting the ball as clean on target as they normally do, oftentimes they get back to the very basics, the very fundamentals. And I think that same principle applies for entrepreneurships. For entrepreneurs, why did you get into business in the first place? I think one of the reasons why a lot of businesses fail because they're chasing money and not mission.
They're chasing money, not the business itself, right?
That's right. That's right.
Mm.
And it's, resources and finances are great. Money's it's better to have it than not have it, right? It's better to no question, right?
Yes.
So it's nothing wrong, right, with them when the harvest comes in. But if you're seeking just the benefits without being a blessing, then oftentimes we're not aligned. People will go chasing an idea just because they think it's going to make money, but it might not be their idea. It might not be something that they're passionate about, something that they're intentional about. So uh, I think a winning mindset goes a long way. Thinking about how we can help others.
A winning mindset for sure. And I think many founders ignore the fundamentals because they are drawn to speed,
Mm,
excitement, and I think the visibility rather than discipline,
yeah.
structure, or the delayed results.
And now because we can have all of us can have a camera and can go
Mm,
live or can put information out there and can get a lot of likes or retweets, it can intoxicate us to thinking that we're building traction. And those things are nice. It's nice to be liked. It's nice to get shout outs online, but that's a different mindset from delivering products
mm-hmm.
or delivering products that people are going to actually pay for or tune into, or if you're part of an organization that people are going to actually buy into the buy into what you're doing. So we ought not get so intoxicated by um, social feedback and make sure that the entrepreneur is getting feedback from their client, their constituent, the people that they serve.
Indeed. And what role does adaptability play in success?
Adaptability is huge because we may start out in one lane and realize that, we may have to take a detour from that lane in order to get back on track. And the only way we can do that is by being adaptable. I think it was Mike Tyson said, right, everybody has a plan until they get punched in the face, right? You
Yes,
know,
some
the,
do.
yeah, in sports, you're playing offense, but somebody's playing defense and somebody's trying to stop what it is that you're doing. Now, in entrepreneurship, you may have competition, somebody that's doing what you're doing, and they're not ready to hand over market share to you. So we got to be adaptable because there is enough for everyone to eat. But at the end of the day, that entrepreneur understands their mission, their target, their focus. But we need to be adaptable. We need to be able to run a different play if it's not working. If the play is not working, we need to sometimes change the play. That doesn't mean we're not in the same game, but we need to be able to run different plays. In football, they call it an audible. They come
Audible.
up to the line of scrimmage and they see the defense is adjusting to what you're going to run. You got to be able to call an audible. Great businesses call great audibles. They're willing to
Interesting.
adapt and adjust as needed.
Interesting, Mr. Michael. I think adaptability also plays a decisive role in success because it allows individuals and organizations to respond effectively to change without, I think, losing strategic direction, right?
Well said. Well said. To
Hmm.
still have a direction, but understand that we may have to adjust, adapt,
Yes,
be
adapt.
flexible. Because at the end of the day, what is the entrepreneur more married to? Proving their preconceived idea right
Mm-hmm.
or meeting the needs of others? And in many ways, the customer is right about what it is that they want. We got to be adaptable and adjustable in order to meet the needs of others without losing the core mission, the core vision.
Yes, the
Yeah,
core vision and mission of the company. And how important is the customer feedback in the early stages?
it's huge. That's your report card in many ways.
Report
Um,
card, yes.
that's right. That's right. It's not that we go around chasing what other people say, but feedback matters.
Mm-hmm.
Um, a good chef, it doesn't just say it's a great meal when they say it's a great meal.
Yes.
The people who are eating, right? The customer tells you whether or not they like it or not. Or if that was a little too salty. If you hear that it was too salty enough, we might want to cut back on some of the salt.
Mm-hmm. Yes. Adjust.
Adjust.
Adaptability.
That's right.
Ah, that's awesome. That's awesome, Mr. Michael. And I think customer feedback is critical in early stages because it functions as a real-time validation system for both the product or the services or the business model itself,
That's right.
right?
It's like a free survey.
Mm,
And now in the times we live in now, the days and times we live in now, and if someone's traveling, for example, and they want to find the best restaurant in town, they're going to search, right? And get the
yes,
reviews. Many will. And it doesn't mean you can't get a bad meal from a restaurant that has a 4.8, 4.9, or a 5.0 rating. They could have an off day, but in many ways, past performance is the best predictor for future performance. Most people are going to hedge a bet on a restaurant that has good ratings and good reviews. So it's so important to do the work to satisfy your customer because oftentimes they're going to leave a review and that can
yes,
affect the bottom line. Yeah,
so that they will come back.
that's right.
And come back and take your products, services for sure.
Not only will they come back, Daniel, but oftentimes they'll tell someone else,
Yes,
hey,
I
when
like
you're
that.
in town, come to this restaurant. You're going to get a good meal. And
Mm-hmm.
that chef, that entrepreneur, that business owner is not going to want to let down the person that you're recommending.
Yes, that's a good marketing, people. Through mouth or word of mouth.
That's right.
It's a effective marketing. And why does execution matter more than ideas, Mr. Michael?
I think they go hand in hand. Uh, Ideas, I don't know that we can separate them. We
Mm-hmm.
must execute on ideas.
Mm,
So it's
yes.
hard to separate the two. So I won't put them against each other. I say they need to work together. Great ideas should be executed upon, and both matter tremendously. Um, and that's why spending time thinking about the vision, the mission, the goal is so important. We talked about this in previous episodes, right? TPE, think, plan, execute. Give adequate thought to the idea. What are the contingency plans? What's going to go right? What could possibly go wrong? What will we do if things don't go right? How will we adapt? How will we adjust? Who can we call upon to help us? Say, all that's now part of the execution. A great idea, but the willingness to tap into the right resources, the right resilience, the right mindset to be able to navigate when things don't go right.
Exactly. And I think execution matters more than the ideas because ideas only create potential, while execution, I think, determines results,
Yeah.
right?
No, I hear you on that. I think uh, they both matter because at the end of the day, if you have a great idea and we don't execute, then that's just kind of wishful thinking.
Yes, true. You need to execute it.
Yeah.
Whatever that, you need to work it out. So, how do successful entrepreneurs manage risk, Mr. Michael?
I think they do a risk assessment on the front end. They think about what could go right, what could go wrong,
Mm-hmm.
and they make a calculated risk. They make smart risks. They make risks based upon as much data as they possibly can get. And sometimes there's not much data you can get. Sometimes you got to roll the dice and really get out there and try. But I'm a big proponent of crawl before you walk. So you're going to get feedback along the way. Some
Mm-hmm.
people, it's all in, they push all their chips in,
Yes.
and that's understandable if that's the need, right? But it's
Mm-hmm.
also okay to, well, not everybody, Daniel, needs to jump off the diving board right into the 12-foot pool. Some people need to start at the kiddie pool and walk their way up to 12 feet. And that's okay because our body adjusts. We get used to what it's like in that water. So, how do we manage risk? I think we take smart risks, we take calculated risks. And the entrepreneur does their homework, they do their research. They study the
Yes.
film, they study others who have maybe gone down a similar path. So that way they can learn maybe from some of the wins or the mistakes from others. So they won't have to make the same ones.
Yes. And I think, Mr. Michael, successful entrepreneurs manage risk by reducing uncertainty before making irreversible commitments rather than avoiding risk entirely, right?
That's a great point about making irreversible commitments, right? Not
True.
taking on more, not biting off more than we can chew.
True.
Very good point.
Yes. And so, what habits separate thriving founders from struggling ones?
First thing comes up for me is hard work. Again, back to the earlier point, a relentless pursuit of excellence.
Mm-hmm.
They want to be great. They want to leave an impact. They want to they want things to be different from what after they've shown up. And that takes hard work. That takes drive. That takes determination. That takes a relentless and insatiable appetite for excellence. That's the differentiator. That's the separator for many. Another one, another character trait I would or habit I would say is time management. Being willing to say no to things that are unimportant, so we can say yes to the things that are important.
Mm.
Another habit I would say is courage. The ability to face fear head on and still persevere through it. A
Mm-hmm.
faith walk, well, it's kind of like going down the steps, right? With the lights out. We know the steps are there, but we just can't necessarily see it. And that takes courage, that takes faith, that takes discipline. Discipline, the process, right, of learning to disciple. The root word of discipline, right, deals with a disciple. That's a student, that's a person who learns, that's a person who's willing to study.
Yes.
And what do we study? We study winning, winning habits. They study those who are winners and who have proven themselves, right, in the same field that they're in. And that might not get a lot of likes or a lot of retweets. That might have to be a lot of things done in private. I'm a firm believer, Daniel, that Oftentimes, public success is really just a reflection of what happens in private, and that takes discipline. The work done behind the scenes.
Yes.
Yeah,
Discipline people. Thriving founders distinguish themselves through, I think, consistent habits
true.
that prioritize discipline, as Mr. Michael talking about clarity and long term thinking over short term emotion. Oh, that's a
Well said.
big, yeah, that's a big question. This is short emotion. So why is it patience is critical in business growth, Mr. Michael?
Wow, patience is the gift that keeps on giving, Daniel.
Yes, not
And
everybody does have.
I tell you, be careful what you pray for, right? If we pray for patience, be ready for some challenges to that
Mm,
patience. And
patience is
yeah,
virtue. People.
patience is a virtue.
Yes.
But we're willing to be more patient when we care about the long term results, not just, like you said, the short term emotion. What are we in it for? Do we want just a few notices, a few nods? Or do we
Mm.
want to have a body of work
Body of work,
that,
yes.
in many ways, will outlive us? Just like these podcasts you're doing, Daniel. People will be able to tune in not only today or next month, but Lord willing, years to come, and learn and glean and be inspired and be encouraged. And that's a long term vision, right? That's the hard work, the entrepreneurial spirit that has to be put in to get lasting success.
A lasting success. And that is our vision and mission, Mr. Michael. Lasting success. And
That's
I
right.
think also patience is a critical in business growth because they are sustainable results required for time, for system, trust, and I think momentum to develop
Oh, that's
as your
good.
business, right?
Momentum and patience. Yes, I like that. To be
Mm-hmm.
patient with ourselves as well. Obviously, right? It's so important to be patient with others, to give grace to others, to work with people, but also to be patient with ourselves and to not beat ourselves up if we didn't dot every I or cross every T, but to learn and grow and develop and to allow it to mature, right? When a baby falls down and they're learning to walk, we don't yell at them and say, "Why'd you fall?" No, why? Because we have patience with them. We understand that it's a learning process.
True.
Their falling down is about them learning, not necessarily about them failing. I hope that just helps somebody right there. Maybe your other entrepreneurial endeavors were you falling down so that you could learn for what's next.
Mm-hmm.
Be patient with yourself. Learn, grow, move forward.
And let it go. Ah, because founders should never ignore early warning signs because they signal structural problems long before that. So
Yeah.
people have patience.
I can
Have
imagine
patience.
somebody saying, right, I wasn't failing, I was learning how to win.
Yes.
Sometimes we have to
That's
learn how to win. Yeah.
hmm
And it takes
so
patience.
so Mr. Michael, to wrap up our discussion for today, what early warning signs should founders never ignore?
Customer feedback, client feedback,
Hmm.
what people are saying, what they're experiencing, that's not to be ignored. And
Mm-hmm.
if a problem can be solved, in many ways, it's on the entrepreneur, it's on the leader, it's on the visionary to help see that through. You may care more than other people. It may because it's your idea. In many ways, Daniel, no one's going to care much about something, right, as we do.
Yes.
And once we're all in, that energy is can be contagious, where other people want to partner in what it is that we're doing. So that's not to be ignored. The feedback of others. Something else that I would say that is not to be ignored is how you feel about things along the way, in your gut, in your heart, in your spirit. Do you feel good about what you're doing? Are you having an impact? Do you feel more fulfilled? Even if the results aren't coming in as you had anticipated, but you can see that you're building momentum. You can see that you're helping people. You can see that you're moving the needle in the right direction. It's not all about emotions, but our emotions do matter. How we
Mm.
feel matter. The sense of um, reward that we get, a sense of accomplishment. It, in many ways, the heart, the spirit won't lie to us if we really pay attention to it. So, how we feel about things, the impact we're making, and the feedback of others are not to be ignored.
Yes, definitely. And before we do wrap up our discussion for today, Mr. Michael, I'm inviting you to please do listen to my other podcast, people. My other podcast, because my abstract essay is already in fifth season, abstract poetry and second season, and my book 101 review in fifth season too, comedy 101 in third season, and Food 101 in its sixth season. This December, Geography 101, Love Letters, Movie 101, Review Music 101, our fourth season, Science 101, Sex 101 in its second season, and our baby podcast, Mental Health 101, Law 101, Bible Verses 101, and of course, Entrepreneurship 101, and the newly edition Motivation 101. Please listen to them wherever you listen your podcasts. So,
Congratulations, Daniel, on all the podcasts. Keep doing great work.
thank you so much, Mr. Michael. And likewise, thank you for being my co host and say yes. Let's empower people all over the world through your knowledge and wisdom. So, to wrap up our discussion today, what is all about why business fail?
We're going to talk about why we're going to win, why we're going to succeed, because we have a plan, we have a purpose, and we have the right process. It's all about winning.
Yes, it's all about winning, people. We need have that mindset to win, not to
That's right.
lose. Okay. Awesome, awesome. Yes, people. Another great episode. I hope people empower to our topic for today. And Mr. Michael, would you like to plug in something?
Yes, continue to support our podcast here, Entrepreneurship 101, and all the other podcasts on the Daniel Lucas platform. Another great episode. Look forward to continued episodes. Peace and God bless everyone.
Monica, people. See you soon.